Hello, it's part 17 of finally replying to old comments. And I took a little bit of a hiatus and did a Penguin Zero at 40 video out of the blue, but 2 years in the making. So I guess the news there is that since that video came out, this channel has lost 3 subscribers. And I say good riddance to bad rubbish, because if they couldn't handle the greatness of that video and they had to turn away from it like Chris Watts turning away from his neighbor's security camera footage because it was going to prove that he was guilty and he was looking everywhere but at the screen. If they had to look everywhere but at the screen to see that my Penguin Zero at 40 video was proving that they were guilty of being less than, and they had to unsubscribe and fast walk down the hallway and out the door, then I think that I'm going to do another Penguin Zero video to get rid of some more trash by turning this, what I'm saying now, into a short. By the way, it isn't just the viewers unsubscribing who don't like to see this channel succeed. It's also YouTube themselves, because that short was slowly gaining momentum, and then at its peak of views and likes and comments, it suddenly just got cut off. The last minute had the most views, and then it went right to zero for the next hours, and then just a couple per hour after that. So YouTube came in and dropped the guillotine to stop that momentum. Why? Because the social media people in charge of social media want you to be like Grant Amato. And this channel represents the antidote to Grant Amato, just hearing each other out and trying to understand each other instead of existing in a fantasy vacuum where we just pretend to do things. Mike, are you considering people who just simply unsubscribed to your channel because they were interested in other things to be on the same level as family annihilators? Maybe I am, because they hurt my feelings. By the way, before I move on, the Penguin Zero at 40 short was a re-upload. So thank you to the 2 viewers of this channel who left comments on the original upload. But that got the hatchet even sooner. Like, it got to like 30 views, and then YouTube turned off its ability to be seen by an audience. So instead of just letting that die in a vacuum, I re-uploaded it to give it another chance to be put into the algorithm, and it did, and it took YouTube a little longer to find out that time. So that's why it got up to where it is now, a couple hundred. And that's that, but thanks for the comments that I sadly had to delete. I wish I could have saved them and reposted them on a new upload, but if that technology does exist, I haven't been made aware of it yet. Okay, so moving on to the one comment from part 16 of Finally Replying to Old Comments from Megatini. We might have to disagree on my stalking of this channel. Before I go any further, thank God you ended that sentence with this channel. We might have to disagree on my stalking of this channel. I listened to episode 15 on my way to work, then contemplated on what I was going to write in the comments for the next 3 weeks, only to discover today that episode 16 was already released 5 days ago. After the remark of furrowing of the brows, my personal challenge was to make you smile, so that comment had better be good. Alas, that kitty beat me to it. Megatini is referring to part 16, where my cat succeeded, finally paid off the 60 to 70 video journey of trying to jump up into this little cubby hole that I consider a studio where the phone is recording. And maybe that, what are we doing here? Man. You would think after 16, 17 videos I'd be better at this. But anyway, thanks for the comment, Megatini. And any positive comment does make me smile. I'm sorry it doesn't come off on camera because I usually read it off camera. but anything that's positive, because none of them are guaranteed. So they all make me smile. I know it's kind of, isn't it kind of a buzzkill when someone you watch like admits to being that easily manipulated by the audience? Like when anytime someone has to apologize, like, no, you should have stuck to your guns. You didn't do anything wrong. The comments make me so happy. Saying it in a sarcastic way to hide the fact that it's true. Okay, anyway, moving on to the comment section from his master plan revealed part 8, which is where we left off. We left off with Ashley Shelton saying courageous like Cece, which I went into at the end of part 16. And then next, Ashley Shelton also says, I absolutely adore this video. Thank you so much. Shine like Shanann. You're going to have to come back, Ashley Shelton, and extrapolate on Shine like Shanann, because although I don't think she deserved to be one of Chris's victims, I'm struggling to find reasons why I think she shines. I mean, she was seemed to be an okay mom from what's available to the public, but by that same token, she was a social media mom, which is usually don't put your kids through that. What are you doing? But at the same time, I don't think she did anything terrible. I'm wondering. I mean, I'll give this to Shanann. She caught on to what Chris was doing probably before anyone, and that's why she changed the password on her phone, which was one of the earliest things that stopped Chris from his plan. He was going to use her phone, and people wonder why he was so stupid to just, before he left for work, shove her phone into a couch cushion. Or maybe he did that when he got back, because he was planning to come home to an empty house and kick up his feet and then just start texting to all of Shanann's friends and family, telling them all what Shanann was doing, when really it was just Chris trying to cover his tracks. It would give him more time to clean up the mess of his crimes. And I think she caught on to Chris might be dangerous. She didn't know exactly what he was going to do, but she was seeing some of the signs, like maybe that picture that Chris sent of the doll with the sheet over its face that Chris sent to Shanann, and then she reposted it like not sure what to think about this. I think she was already getting creeped out by what Chris really was, that he wasn't the man he's been pretending to be for the last 8 years to win her over. And now that he was done with her, he was going to show his true side. So the shine like Shanann part is that she caught on to what he was doing. Her social media personality just irritates me. That's it. I don't know her personally, and I guess that's why I had to question it a little bit. But she was maybe the first one to, even before Bella and Celeste, she was the first one to disrupt Chris's plan by changing the password. So then Chris couldn't get into her phone to pretend to be her, to say she was okay. So he had to just shove it in the couch, and then Shanann's friend's son found it later that morning or later that day. So that's how I shine like Shanann. But if you have more nice things to say about Shanann, by all means, help tell her story. Ashley Shelton also said, I'm really liking this series. That's good. Believe it or not, that's actually the goal of me making videos, is for people to like them. Does anybody like this series yet? Oh, wasn't that pathetic? That was so pathetic, I thought about turning it off right now, but I'm just going to keep going. Okay, Jeanette Pina said, your videos are so good. Thumbs up. Man, this is a lot of just being nice to me in a row, where I'm getting uncomfortable, because I don't really think it's coming off very entertaining to just read. It's like feeding my ego, obviously, but it's, how good is that for the audience, for the, for lack of a better term, entertainer, to just sit there and feed their own ego? I guess if I was doing it in a way where I didn't know I was embarrassing myself, like the unaware egomaniac. Okay, anyway, moving on. Oh, Donna Bond, come on. No, it's a nice comment. Love you, dude. You are so cool. Love your commentary. Thank you, Donna Bond. DMBBWL said, Because of watching these videos, I have been able to ping my ex-narcissistic partner. Thank you. Well, that's great, DMBB3WL. But I hope that you also checked other references, because if it hasn't become apparent, I'm not a professional of any kind. I mean, I did get straight A's in my 4 college psychology courses, but no degree in psychology, not a professional, not in the field, just a normal person who wonders why people behave in ways that are hard to understand, and how to protect myself and those I care about from those behaviors. So hopefully I wasn't the only source, and that you've actually had several sources, because even if I am 100% on the money, you still should consider multiple sources to get the most vantage points, and then you kind of find the truth in the middle, no matter what you're looking at, whether it's your ex-narcissistic partner or anything else. But thanks for the comment. That is something to hang my hat on, is that I was one of your sources. Cheryl Johnson said, "No other greater betrayal than your own parent to kill you. Damn." You know, I've actually, of all the people to kill me, I've always considered like my parents and others. And my considering my parents killing me has actually been the least upsetting when I've thought about it. Because I would think that of everyone, they have the most right from the kid's point of view, because they brought me into the world. They've had to take care of me. They've had to spend all their money on me. They've also gotten money from the government because of me. But still, they're close. They still shouldn't. It's still wrong. I'm not saying they've earned the right to. It's just that of all the people to murder you as a kid, it seems like your parents are the closest to paying off that 30-year mortgage. They're closer. They're still not close. They still can't do it, but they're a few months ahead of all other murderers in paying off that 30-year mortgage that earns them the right to kill you. You know what I'm saying? They've put more money and time into it. They're never there. If they murder you, they've never made it to paying off that mortgage. To continue that metaphor, not a literal mortgage. Mike, I think it's easy for them to follow this metaphor. Okay, I'm moving on. But anyway, I'm still, but you said, I don't even know why I went off on that, because you're saying there's no greater betrayal. And that kind of is, yeah, I was answering something else. That is the greatest betrayal, is to betray someone who loves you and trusts you. So you're right, no greater betrayal than your own parent to kill you. So I still stand by everything I said, but I was talking about, I understand parents killing me more than just some stranger who hasn't put any time or money into you growing up and becoming an adult. They haven't earned the right to kill you. Well, your parent hasn't either, but your parent is closer to earning the right to take you out. Like, oh, I've done enough of this. I'm done with it. But you're saying betrayal, and yeah, that is a greater betrayal, because for the same reason, the stranger that's going to kill you, or just someone who's met you casually that's going to kill you, they haven't put any time or money into it. So they're nowhere near as close as your parents are to earning the right. But because of that lack of connection with the strangers and the stronger connection that you're supposed to have with your parent, you are correct. And I shouldn't have even tried to correct you, or not correct you, but give another vantage point, to go back to the other comment. You're right. There is no other greater betrayal than that of someone in a position of power, trust, taking advantage of that power to end the life of someone who loves them. That is the greatest betrayal. You're right. Thank you for the comment, Cheryl Johnson. Right to the point. And whoa, Moonstars with the really long one. How much time do I have? All right. So Moonstars 315. One thing I forgot to say about this, Shanann likely was not putting up with these mouth noises for years. Oh, the mouth noises again. Not likely putting up with these mouth noises for years. I believe that they came along with the new cool guy, suddenly so sure of himself. Yeah, and I got that impression of him in the interrogation a lot, where he was like doing the vocal fry, like he thought he was, to use Dr. Phil's phrase, he thought he was Joe Cool. Like he's like, yeah, he's so relaxed, and I mean, that's just, I mean, you just fall out of love. I mean, that's how it is. I mean, he all but should have had his arm up on the chair next to him, like all relaxed, showing his vulnerable innards. But okay, anyway, that suddenly came with the new cool guy, suddenly so sure of himself that NK's attention turned him into. Even Watts says, oh, let me do the voice. I could start to be myself around here, and I could never do that. Oh, whoops. It started with a quote, and then there was no end quote, so that threw me off. I could start to be myself around her, and I could. Let's just move on to the rest of the comment. How about that? That's a good one, Mike. He had a new level of confidence and power, just like the Pantera song. Vulgar display of power? Is that the Pantera song you're talking about? He was suddenly this man who important people loved, believed, befriended. He couldn't let his narcissistic flag fly. He could hide under the new persona. Yeah, that's one of the things that I never got into that really rubbed me the wrong way in his interrogation is the thing where he started to say he was a shy guy. I think he said that in his prison interview too. I've always been a shy guy. He had more friends just at the time he murdered his wife and kids than I've had cumulatively in my entire life. So I was like, you're shy? I don't think you know what shy is, buddy, with that many friends. So, yeah. So he hid under the new persona. Yeah, he was just playing the role. His old persona was, I'm the shy guy, just to hide his dark side that he never knew how to let out. And now his new persona is Joe Cool. So anyway, continuing with the comment, the new persona with the people he had chosen to continue his life with after this incident. In reality, this is not him, and he knows it. The dude making these mouth noises is not Chris. He is a scared pup. Yep. With his tail between his legs. Scared he'll never get to bed down with his disgusting lady friend ever again. But now he has this new self, real and fake. No one ever has to know until he wants people to know who he really is. After all, Shanann was unstable. His parents backed him up on it. His sister, too. I think you're saying that from Chris's point of view. His friend Mark, validation. Yep, he listened to the people who agreed with him. Kind of like what a lot of people do on the internet. There's that great Bill Burr joke about you think something, you have an opinion, and then you just go on the internet and look for imright.com and find people who agree with you to back you up so that you just feel, yeah, I am right. See, these people say it. Yeah, that's what Chris was doing in his real life. He was just listening to the people who were validating what he was planning for months or years to do before he finally did it. Well, they all say that I'm right in the way I think about her, so I can go ahead with my plan to get rid of everyone. Chris knows Shanann isn't that bad of a woman. Despite everything I said earlier, I agree with that. At least from what's available publicly. She's just a human being, and no human being is perfect. What mattered is that she was trying to even look inward and had a willingness to change her ways. Yep. So Chris would be happy in the marriage. The girlfriend, in this case, was the root of the problem. Watts started to resent and hate his family, right down to the kids, maybe even for simply taking up his time that he'd rather be hanging out with the gooman. Oh man, do you mean gunman? You know, I'll believe any level of manipulation that the mistress might have done to, like, just even for her own completely banal curiosity. Can I get him to kill his family? That would be so trippy if I did. I can believe she's that rotten of a person, but I don't think she would actually get her hands dirty from what we've seen of her publicly. But anyway, continuing on with your comment, if you have access to evidence that proves that could be true, share it with everyone because I haven't seen it, but I'm open to it. Okay, moving on. I believe the girls being away from their dad that long put a strain on the relationship with their dad. The girls started refusing to go to him. They only wanted Shanann. I used to laugh when my kids would choose their mom over me. That was hilarious. I would refer to her as, do you guys want to go to the store with boring daddy or fun times mommy? I had fun with it. But Chris took it personally, and that's why he's in prison. So anyway, sorry Moonstars, I keep interrupting your comment, but isn't that the point of this whole series? Okay, anyway, moving on. Girls started, they only wanted to go to Shanann. They'd even go to Pop Pop, meaning Shanann's dad, before they'd go to him. He said it in the February 2019 interview that he could tell that the girls felt the evil that was in him because they were reactive to it, which caused Chris to detach from them emotionally. Well, he had a lot of good points there. At the end, I would add that he was already detached from them emotionally, and then they detected that he was detached from them emotionally. That's how I would switch that around. But thanks for sharing all those thoughts, Moonstars. That was good. So I definitely will have to. You have another pretty long comment after that, and I'm running out of time here. So, wow, thank you for everyone who did enjoy that Penguin Zero video, and I think I have to